Hi, welcome to Books and Bocadillos. My name is Maria Andrea, and today I am doing a tag. I have not done a tag in a little while, and I was really excited to be tagged in Suey's original tag in celebration of her third birthday on BookTube. And the tag is titled The Rule of Thirds Tag, celebrating 3 years on BookTube. And this was created by Suey. She posted it last week, and I am excited to do this tag. Thank you, Suey, for tagging me. I'm kind of going to go off the cuff. I don't have my notepad in front of me. I'm just going to try to do my best off the top of my head. I did get 3 books here just because I knew I was going to have a hard time with one of the questions. But here we go. These prompts are in groups of 3. So the first third is, what are your favorite genres? These 3 questions are about books and reading. So question number 1, what are your 3 favorite genres? Okay, I'm not including YA as a genre because YA is technically like a category. So genres, totally just genres. And I'm not even including poetry because I consider poetry a category of literature, not a genre. So I'm talking about fiction genres here. My 3 favorite are horror, science fiction, and I think I have to be very genuine with myself. I think that a recent new favorite kind of genre is women's fiction or like domestic fiction. So like domestic thrillers or like women's fiction kind of books. Um, I'm thinking of like Taylor Jenkins Reid. I'm thinking Kristen Hanna. I'm thinking Annette Chavez Macias. I'm thinking who else would fall into like this women's fiction. I said Kristen Hanna. Like I mentioned 3. Okay, so those 3 like for women's fiction, I'm thinking those like that kind of book. So whether it be domestic thrillery or just like domestic fiction, women's fiction, though that's Leanne Moriarty is another one, right? It didn't say Leanne Moriarty. Um, yeah, so that's I think that's my third genre would be women's fiction, like very broadly. Question number 2. Who are your 3 autobi authors? Gali Fajardo Anstein, Hilary Lecter, Angeline Boulley. Those are my 3 autobi. Next, what 3 books do you recommend the most? I think the one that I've recommended the most on BookTube is Martita, I Remember You by Sandra Cisneros. I think the 2 books that I recommend the most on Reddit are The Firekeeper's Daughter by Angeline Boulley and If Beale Street Could Talk by James Baldwin. The next third. These 3 questions are about booktubing. So question number 4. What is your favorite book from each year for the past 3 years? So I have been on BookTube for 2 years. So I'm going to just go the last 3 years. So last year, 2024, my favorite book was, I have to go get it. I don't remember the. So last year, I think my favorite book was this one, More Than You'll Ever Know by Katie Gutierrez. I meant to do a like best of 2024, and I never got to do this video. So this was my favorite book of 2024. Um, my favorite book of 2023, I think that's when I read Temporary by Hilary Lecter. So I want to say Temporary by Hilary Lecter. And my favorite book previously, I should probably just go and like check out videos, but I think I'm gonna say before that it was Martita, I Remember You by Sandra Cisneros. So I'm gonna say those three books. Martita, I Remember You by Sandra Cisneros, Temporary by Hilary Lecter, and More Than You'll Ever Know by Katie Gutierrez. Okay. Question number 5. What are 3 things you've learned from booktubing? Um, I've learned to live stream. I did my first live stream for August, and I learned thanks to getting tips from my friend Mimi at It's Mimi Duong. She cautioned me about how to making sure that I scheduled it in advance and gave me some things to think about. So I want to credit her for the encouragement. So I learned how to live stream this year. I've learned that my favorite videos are not going to be the most viewed or the most liked. And I think that's just the way it is. I think my favorite things to talk about are not what people are looking for or enjoy. But you still have to do what you like, because I'm here because I want to be here and I want to be excited about things that are exciting to me. So I'm going to always make things from the heart and talk about things that I love to talk about. So whether or not they're popular, I think that's secondary. But I've learned that just because I am really excited about it, or I think I've outdone myself or done something creative, or it's just, I'm thinking about like that tag that I created for Amelia. I didn't get a lot of participation from it. It's still kind of going. So sometimes you make something and it doesn't, you know, resonate with the community at the time, but maybe over time, it gets into like the right zeitgeist, and then like Dan from Redunculous just did it recently a few months ago, and that was a huge surprise. It made my day when he made it. So I was really excited for that. But I've learned that it's not always popular, or people aren't always excited. So temper my expectations and my excitement. I've learned how to do that. And I've also learned to give myself some grace. I think initially it was a rough start because I had a huge learning curve, and I still have a huge learning curve, and sometimes I felt really discouraged, but I think I've learned to give myself grace and not compete. Like my mantra for a while was create, don't compete. So there are people who started their channels after I started mine and are like a lot more popular, have a lot more views, have a lot more subscribers. But I'm not going to focus on like competing. Like I'm just going to focus on reading what I love to read, making friends, and talking about books and food because that's my thing. And it's okay. It's okay if I'm really, really behind other booktubers who have been here for the same amount of time. And then question number 6. What are 3 goals you have the next year on BookTube? So my third BookTube anniversary will be at the end of January. So I think Suey in her video mentioned the return of August. So that's definitely a goal to come back for another year of August. And just, I love the excitement. And Suey and I were really like bouncing the excitement off each other. And that was a lot of fun. So I'm looking forward to that next year. And that's one goal. I'm going to continue with the Books and Bocadillos book club. I don't think it's going, like it's something that's very small and people come and go and that's okay. Like there's some months where I'm the only one reading. I think this month I'm the only one reading Queen of the Cicadas, but that's okay. And what, like, I have friends in real life who kind of like, maybe they pick up a book one month and they take their time with it and they take a few months reading it and then they'll come back and maybe try another book. And I think that's what it's meant to be. So I'm going to keep up with it because I think the intention is still relevant. My intention with that was to highlight and talk about more Latinx, Latina literature on BookTube. So I think that's still important to me. I know it's still important to me and still something that I want to do. So I am going to continue. And maybe my third goal, so my first goal was August, my second goal was Books and Bocadillos, and my third goal is maybe do something kind of fun, like crazy fun. Like maybe do something that pushes me a little bit. Maybe it's learning to vlog, or maybe it's doing a collaboration or something. But I need to, I don't know what that something is, but I guess my third goal is keep my creative juices flowing and my possibilities open and be willing to say yes to things that maybe scare me or things that I haven't learned yet, but I would like to learn. So do something fun and crazy. That's probably my third one. Okay, the last third. 3 random for fun questions. Question number 7. What are 3 fictional worlds you'd like to visit? Okay, the first one that came to mind was this sci-fi, the Lena Rather series, I think. They're out in space and it's a bunch of nuns, and I love a story with nuns. And these nuns are in a living, breathing spaceship. I just want to see the spaceship. I think that would be really interesting. That's 1. 2, I want to go to Tita Rosie's kitchen. I want to be in that Filipino restaurant. I want to go to the Bruja Cafe. I want to have that ube flavored latte that they're always talking about. I want to have all the pancit, and I want to have all the really delicious vegan food stuff at this Shady Pine or Shady Grove, something something shady community. So that's 2. mostly for the good food. And I think Tita Rosie sounds really sweet, and everybody seems kind of quirky and fun. And then the third one, fiction. Oh, Alice in Wonderland. Okay, and then question 3. What are 3 relationships I'm always going to root for? The first one that comes to mind is Persuasion, Anne, and Captain Wentworth. I'm always going to root for them. Why am I having such a hard time thinking about relationships? Okay. Oh, Anne and Gilbert from Anne of Green Gables. My third one. Okay. My third one, Heartstopper, Nick and Charlie. And question number 9. Name 3 books with a number in the title. And this is the one that I needed help with, so I grabbed these. The Seventh Garment by Eugenia Fictional. This, so I'm going to read this tiny little part of the back. It says, like Gabriel Garcia Marquez, Milan Kundera, and Salman Rushdie, Eugenia Fictional writes within a magical realist tradition, a tradition born in ancient Greece. In haunting, mesmeric language, she shows the traumatic effect of history on people's lives. So, Seventh Garment. I haven't read this. I picked it up when I visited Powell's last year. I picked this up earlier this year from my local indie, and I picked it up after we read the January Books and Bocadillos book club pick, Lost Children Archive by Valeria Luiselli. One of the children in that is obsessed with Elvis, and they want to go to Graceland during their road trip, and so A Thousand Miles to Graceland kind of reminded me of that little quirk in that book. And this says Grace Johnson can't escape the feeling of that her life is on autopilot until her husband announces he's done with their marriage. Grace has a choice: wallow in humiliation or reluctantly grant her outlandish mother's 70th birthday wish with a road trip to Graceland. Buckle up, Elvis, we're on our way. This sounds like so much fun. It's from El Paso to Memphis, leaving a trail of sequins, false eyelashes, and difficult memories in their wake. This sounds so good. So this is the kind of like women's fiction that I was talking about. And then this one, The Five Wounds by Kirsten Valdez Quaid. We read the short story, The Five Wounds, in the collection, the short story collection, Night at the Fiestas by Kirsten Valdez Quaid for the Books and Bocadillos book club in May. I really liked that short story, and I picked that short story collection because this has been on my shelves for quite a while. I've been wanting to read it, but I was curious to see how the short story inspired this longer, much longer novel. This is a big book. It's over 400 pages. So I would like to read this soon. What can I tell you about it? I'm not going to read the back. I'm just going to tell you about the author. Kirsten Valdez Quaid is the author of Night at the Fiestas, winner of the National Books Critics Circle's John Leonard Prize, a recipient of a 535 award from the National Book Foundation. She teaches at Princeton University in Lewiston, New Jersey. This was shortlisted for the Center for Fiction First Novel Prize, and it was also longlisted for the Andrew Carnegie Medal for Excellence in Fiction. So this one. And I think that is all. Oh, bonus question. What book are you excited to read this next year? Okay, because we're doing threes, I might as well be 3. I am excited to read, I'm not doing well with this tag. I'm excited to read in the next year, meaning like starting now, right? Right? Starting now. The Townsend Family Recipe for Disaster by Shauna Robinson. This book was recommended to me by Ellen at Ellen Made Book Club, and I'm hoping to get this read this fall. Never Whistle at Night, an Indigenous dark fiction anthology. I'm hoping to get through some of these stories for the month of November. So this one I wanted to read for K Tropathon, but I didn't get to it. The Magical Language of Others, a memoir by E.J. Koh. And it says, in her striking, unforgettable debut memoir, E.J. Koh grapples with cultural identity, language, and longing for her mother across the ocean. It sounds really beautiful. So these 3 books are books that I am looking forward to reading in the next year, which is kind of typical. A memoir. I do love a memoir. I love nonfiction. So this is definitely my kind of thing. An anthology or short story collection. I love these. I am a sucker for a good short story collection. And a book that a friend recommended, or a book about food and family and friendship. And my friend Ellen recommended this to me, and I love reading books with friends and getting recommendations from friends. So this is totally like a me stack. Thank you so much to Suey for tagging me. I am so honored to have met Suey and really, really connected with her this year through August, and that was a lot of fun. So I'm really, really grateful. Suey, cheers to many, many more BookTube birthdays. I love our friendship, and I look forward to many, many more collabs and just book recommendations and reading together, all the good stuff. Thank you so much for watching. Hasta la próxima.